If you've just turned 60, or you're getting close to it, there is a very good chance you are still paying for things you don't have to pay for anymore. Not one thing, several. And here's the frustrating part. Nobody tells you when you hit 60. There's no letter, no phone call, no little certificate that arrives saying, "Congratulations, here's everything that changes for you now." You're simply expected to already know, and most people don't, because why would you? Nobody teaches this. So today I'm going through 5 real, genuine cost changes that kick in at 60 in the UK. Not vague promises, not "you might be entitled to something." Actual costs you can stop paying or pay a lot less for starting now if you know where to look. I'll be straight with you before we start. You'll see some videos out there claiming things like council tax or your water bill just stop at 60. They don't. That's not true, and if you acted on it, you could end up with a genuine debt problem, which is the opposite of what this channel is here to help with. Everything I'm about to tell you is checked against the actual rules, not repeated from somewhere else without checking. What I am going to show you is real, and for some of you watching, it could be worth a genuinely surprising amount over the course of a year, especially once you stack a few of these together. If that sounds useful, hit like before we get into it. It helps this reach other people turning 60 who need to hear it too. Right, let's get started. Let's start with the one that applies to the largest number of people and the one that's easiest to simply forget to claim, because nothing about it happens automatically the way you might expect. Once you turn 60 in England, you become entitled to completely free NHS prescriptions, not discounted, not capped, free for every single prescription for the rest of your life from that point on. And here's what catches people out. This isn't something the system does for you behind the scenes. You have to actually tick the box on your prescription form that says you're aged 60 or over, and if you're asked, show proof of your age. If you've been quietly paying prescription charges since your 60th birthday because nobody told you to tick that box, you've been paying for something you didn't need to. And if that's happened within roughly the last 3 months, there is actually a way to claim that money back using a simple form your pharmacist can give you. So it's worth asking about if this applies to you. Now, quick and important note if you live outside England. If you're in Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland, prescriptions are already free at any age, so this particular one won't feel like a change for you at 60, but it's still worth knowing because it explains why the rules can sound different depending on which part of the UK you're in, and it means you should always double-check anything you hear against the specific nation you actually live in. Right alongside that, and just as easy to miss, is your eyesight. From 60, you're entitled to a completely free NHS sight test, and this one you're supposed to have every 2 years, sometimes more often if you have a condition like diabetes or a family history of glaucoma, where they'll actually offer it to you annually. This isn't just about whether you need new glasses either. An eye test at your age is a genuine health check. Opticians can pick up early signs of things like high blood pressure, diabetes and glaucoma, sometimes before you'd notice anything was wrong yourself. All you need to do is book an appointment at any high street optician, tell them you qualify through the NHS because you're 60 or over, and bring some form of proof of age with you, like a driving licence or a bus pass if you already have one. That's it. No forms to fill in beforehand, no waiting for approval. You simply book it and go. Now here's the third one, and this is where things start to add up in a way a lot of people don't expect, because it's not just a healthcare saving anymore, it's about how much you spend getting around. If you use trains even occasionally, a senior Railcard becomes available to you the moment you turn 60, and it gives you a third off most rail fares across the country. It isn't free, it costs around £30 for a year, but think about that for a second. If you take even a handful of longer train journeys across the year, visiting family, days out, anything at all, that £30 pays for itself almost immediately, and everything after that is a genuine discount straight off the ticket price. It's one of those things that sits there quietly available to you, and a huge number of people simply never get around to buying it because nobody specifically told them it existed the moment they became eligible. Now, the fourth one isn't a cost you're cutting today, but it's something that directly protects money you're going to rely on for the rest of your life, and 60 is exactly the right moment to deal with it, because leaving it any longer only makes it harder to fix. I'm talking about your national insurance record. Your eventual state pension amount is built entirely from your national insurance contributions over your working life, and if there are gaps in that record, whether from time spent caring for someone, time spent unemployed, or simply years where things weren't recorded properly, your future pension can end up lower than it should be, permanently, for the rest of your retirement. The good news is you can check your national insurance record right now for free through your personal tax account on gov.uk. And if there are gaps that can still be filled, you can ring the Future Pension Centre and ask them directly whether filling a particular gap would actually increase what you eventually receive before you pay anything at all. Doing this at 60, rather than waiting until you're actually retiring, gives you years to fix any gaps properly instead of scrambling to sort it out at the last minute. And that leads naturally into the fifth thing, which ties all of this together, and it's less about a specific saving and more about a habit worth building right now. At 60, it's worth getting into the routine of checking your state pension forecast, understanding roughly what age you'll actually be able to claim it, because contrary to what a lot of people still assume, it isn't 60 anymore for anyone, man or woman. The state pension age in this country is now the same, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, and it currently sits at 66, moving up towards 67 over the coming years. If you've been going on the assumption that pension age is still 60 because that's what it used to be for women specifically, it's worth updating that assumption now, because getting the timing wrong in your own planning could catch you out financially in a way that's much harder to fix after the fact than before it. So let's bring all of this together, because on their own, each of these might sound modest, but stacked up across a year, they genuinely add up to something worth paying attention to. Free prescriptions from 60, which could be a meaningful saving if you're on regular medication. A free eye test every 2 years, which is as much a health check as it is a cost saving. A senior Railcard, which pays for itself almost immediately if you travel by train, even occasionally. A national insurance check, which protects money you won't see the benefit of for years, but which matters enormously once you do. And an updated, accurate understanding of when you'll actually reach state pension age, so you're planning around the real date rather than an old assumption. None of this requires you to be on any particular benefit. None of it requires a complicated application process. Most of it simply requires you to know it exists and then take 5 minutes to actually claim it, book it, or check it. That's really the whole story behind almost everything on this channel. It's rarely that the system is impossible to navigate. It's that nobody tells you the moment something becomes available to you, and by the time you find out by accident, months or years can have quietly gone by. If this helped, do share it with anyone you know who's just turned 60 or is coming up to it, because, exactly like everything else on this channel, none of this arrives with a personal phone call explaining it to you. Subscribe if you want to keep hearing about the things that actually change, and I'll see you in the next one.